Alrighty, traders, welcome to our daily market recap and portfolio recap here for 7/18/2023. Let's jump into the markets. Again, working here in Nashville at the Dark Horse Music Recording Studios. So I am on a laptop sharing these charts with you, so hopefully you can read them okay. I'll be back in the saddle on Thursday, back in the home studio. But for now, here's what we're looking at in SPY. So today on SPY, we had a slight increase in the market. Again, nothing out of control. However, a pretty nice jump on the day. Ended up the day a lot stronger than it was looking early on. And we've got a $3.35 increase, about a 0.74%. So just another day higher. This makes it 2, 4, 5 out of the last 7 days have been, well, really 6 out of the last 7 days have been up days. So just unrelenting move higher on SPY. And as we look at the charts here, let's take a quick look at the weekly. We continue to break out of this range. We're just riding the upper Bollinger Band as these things expand. These Bollinger Bands do not look like they're curving over at all on the weekly. RSI is moving higher. But again, if you look at RSI down here, this is not a higher high on RSI. So RSI is moving in a bit of a downtrend overall here on the weekly, while the index is moving higher. It's still not turning over. So we can look at all the divergences that we want. I think it's going to turn at some point. How far back it comes, we'll have to see. If we look over here at the daily, again, not quite the same. Maybe we can move these around just a tad, but still, again, downtrend, a downtrend here on RSI from a divergence standpoint. As we hit new highs, we have now broken above the 3 ATR, and that's the first time we've been above that since way back here on the 15th, when we dropped, I don't know, 10 some odd points, or on the SPY, which is about 100 points on the index of SPX. So that was when we first got overextended above that ATR. We are back there again. Today, this is really the biggest break of this 3 ATR, going back weeks and weeks and weeks. So we are extraordinarily overbought, but doesn't mean we can't stay there. Markets can remain irrational longer than most can remain solvent. So costly if you've got strangles on or call spreads on to you, but if you're bullish and you're long stocks, you are enjoying this ride. So SPY moving higher, and I would expect some sort of a pullback to be coming, but we're starting to head into earnings. Got Tesla tomorrow. Let's see how earnings shake out, but I can't imagine that we go a whole lot higher without at least a pullback of 100 to 150 points in the next day or so. Probably back to this uptrend line, and then most likely back to this previous resistance level, somewhere around 443 or so is going to be my guess on SPY. So there's where we are on SPY. If we look at the Qs as well, not a whole lot different on the Qs. Again, RSI not as high on the weekly as it was at the previous highs, but on the daily, you're pretty close to back up there at the highs at 85, which is where we were back in here at 85, which is where we were back in here around 83 or so. So we are back to the highs. So Nasdaq's tech stocks looking pretty good, but again, you're hitting the 3 ATR. You've broken the Bollinger Band. But MACD is not showing overbought levels really. So could have some more upside on the Qs. Again, I would expect some sort of a pullback here to this previous resistance level. on the Qs. If we look at IWM as well, I'll try to zoom in because, again, I'm on a laptop, make it easier for everybody. We've broken another area here and broken out higher. Now, again, it is also above the 3 ATR. You got RSIs moving higher, setting new highs, which is a very bullish sign. MACD setting new highs, a very bullish sign. In an uptrend, breaking support, or breaking resistance, I should say, bouncing off support a bit, moving higher. I think the next stop for this thing's going to be this 200-ish range. So 198, 1 to 200, this range in here. Next stop for IWM as the small caps really get cranking. And then if we look at a few of the tech areas, you know, XLK looks like everything else that we've just talked about, looks pretty strong. But again, overbought. How long does it stay overbought on XLK? XLY, which is your Teslas and your Amazons, in here, again, looks very solid on the weekly, looks pretty good on the daily. Could have a little bit more upside to go on XLY in there. If we look at the financials, XLF, so taking a look at the financials, they have had a banner couple weeks. I mean, this thing has really just increased significantly, a good 10% up move in the last several weeks. Again, today, moving its way higher, getting very close to this previous downtrend line that we're at, breaking through this resistance for days, not really taking much of a break, a little bit of a pause, breaking above the 3 ATR and the Bollinger Bands, but the Bollinger Bands are opening up, showing that you got increased expansion here and not contraction. I think financials might be in good shape. We got a lot of banks reporting here. We'll be watching how those banks do. So as we want to dive in a little bit on XLF, let's look at the the KRE. So as we're looking at KRE here, which is your regional banks, really coming off the lows here on the weekly. This is a pretty good looking base that we're starting to build here. You've got right now you've got one higher low and two higher highs now on the weekly. So very good. If we pull back and make another move higher, then I think you're really looking at something pretty solid moving forward. So nice little uptrend line going on here. You've got it breaking out of this really tight squeeze range here. You are cracking the 3 ATR, so maybe it's gone a little bit fast, but KRE looks really, really bullish in here, and I think you had some pretty good support. Some pretty good resistance as we move back here a ways. So looking at what this previous resistance level looked like in here, I'd like to do resistance and supports in blue versus the trend lines. Bumped on it, sold off, bumped on it, sold off, ascending triangle, breaking the ascending triangle on decent MACD, moving forward, RSI getting higher. KRE looks like a really good positive move in here. Let's take a look at XLE. Next sector. So you have really a descending triangle and also a symmetrical triangle in here. So a little bit of both going on. You've got some solid supports in here, making this a descending triangle, but then you have this previous uptrend and this current downtrend getting really tight in here. And you're finally starting to see Bollinger Bands opening up a tad over the last several sessions. We are nowhere near, the overboughts or oversolds, but you've got a positive PSAR that continues to be moving here. MACD is tailing off a bit, but on the weekly, MACD is breaking positive and moving up. So I think as you get a little bit of a pullback in here, we're going to be looking to see if XLE moves higher. If not, it's really consolidating into a really tight range that I think could be overall bullish for the market. I think down in here, we'll see. It would have to really drop back down and break this support level for me to get too concerned, but it is above the 200, it's above the 21, it's above the 50. and Bollinger Bands are opening up here on this pullback and bounce off of the key moving averages. I think XLE remains a pretty good bet in here. And then let's take a look at one more. We had a request to take a look at XLV as well. So as we're looking at XLV, for everybody, you've got healthcare, you've got this symmetrical triangle in here, and then today a look above but didn't finish above that line. So this is really the important area here. No real major support. You've got some previous highs up in here, but really no major resistance levels, I should say. And breaking above and bouncing off all of your moving averages, the 200, the 50, and the 21, all converging at the exact same 131 level. And we're bouncing off of that. So I think XLV looks very, very positive in here. So it looks good on the weekly, and it looks pretty good on the daily. You're in this tight range that we've been in going back to October of 21, just up, down, up, down, down, up, down, and now tightening up in this range. So I think our next move with a PSR reversal today, which is very, very bullish, maybe we start to come back up here and test the upper part of this channel. We'll see if healthcare starts to take off. All right, let's take a look at a couple quick stocks, and then we'll get to trades for the day. Apple just continues to look decent. It dropped off a tad today, but really no major pullbacks. MACD has been moving back higher a bit in here, so it's coming off of its lows. RSI is starting to move back up. You're extremely overbought on the weekly, and you're pretty overbought on the daily, but it doesn't mean that we can't just get higher and higher. Let me move these all-time highs back up in here. So you're still up here with the all-time highs. You've got some support back in here about 182. We'll see if any of this stuff holds back here, and we consolidate a bit before another move higher. But Apple looks decent heading into earnings. We're going to see what happens. Meta, some interesting news coming out on Meta. Meta has just been an absolute rocket ship for months. Now, this thing, once it hit that low back at really Halloween here, it has been on nothing but a giant upside tear with a 2x move, and now you're breaking out of this tighter and tighter and tighter triangle that's really an ascending, moving higher triangle, coming back support. Meta looks super strong still, even after going from 100 to over 300. So really a massive move on Meta, looks super strong. And if they're coming out with their own AI tool that may be free, man, Meta is just going at it. They're going at Twitter. They're going at Google. Meta is solid out there and really looking pretty solid to move higher. Let's look at Tesla, who has earnings coming out. Tesla, a little bit of a move higher today. We had this previous resistance level in here. We moved up. We came down, bumped off it a bit today, and then still finished near the highs of the day. Nice ascending triangle on Tesla heading into earnings. I think if we break through here, next target's this 316 level. Then above that, you're into the 378 range to 400 range. So I think you could see new highs on Tesla with good earnings here. I think 400 is a very real possibility on this thing within the next 6 months on Tesla. So really strong looking Tesla. Microsoft also having a really strong update today. PSR just flipped to bullish. Went bearish and then bullish and last week and then this week. You've got 3 days of PSR bullishness here. Huge break above, new all-time highs on this thing. So finished off the highs of the day, but still had just a massive up move today. Almost a $14 move, almost a 4% move in Microsoft. It really carried the indexes. RSI moving up to highs, MACD bouncing positive. Is it overdone? Yeah, but so is everything else. I mean, how much more can these things continue to run? They still could run a bit more. I'd love to see some pullback and then the next move higher, but that's where we are on Microsoft. These are all like a recording. And I think you can say the same thing about NVIDIA in here. New highs now, so let's move up the all-time highs. We got to move those up. We hit it the other day, came back down, came back up, retested it, finished near the highs of the day. If you really want to look at this as maybe an ascending triangle, but definitely an uptrend here. RSI, MACD piling higher on the daily, piling higher on the weekly, above all of your key moving averages that are perfectly stacked for you. I think you just pull back into this 430 range and then make the next move higher. Again, they're all the same. If you can't make money going bullish right now, you're probably struggling. That's not our game, even though we've got some bullishness on some of the trades that we had. So let's actually take a look at what we did today. We're going to move into the trade charts here, and let's look at today's date. On the main trade account, our deltas dropped to a -25. We did take something off today and added some new stuff. So we're down to almost exactly delta neutral. If the market drops at all, we'll be delta positive. So we're right at delta neutral, which is perfect. Our theta is staying pretty tight at 769, almost a 0.27, 0.3. We're very close. Net lick dropped a little bit more today as the market keeps moving higher, putting our strangles under pressure. Buying power moved up slightly today to 53%, nothing major. And daily, we did have to close a trade for a stop today. So one of our ES strangles hit a 2x loss because this market just is only going one direction. Crazy. That is our first loss on an ES strangle all year. We saw it coming. We were hoping that we could get the pullback before it happened, but it didn't. We didn't get there. So took a little bit of a loss today. Still up $6,000 roughly for the month, 59.38. Still up 2%, and we're only on the 18th of the month. So you're going to get some losses in there. You can't have a winner every single day. But when we look at our trading for the month, 19 winners, only 2 losers, up almost $6,000 on the month. That includes today's ES strangle loss that we closed for, pretty close to a 2x loss, a little bit more than that by the time I closed it. So we did take a loss on that one. It's the first loss on an ES strangle again all year. And then we did close out the naked puts on one of our BA, which is our big ass 112 trades. We closed the naked puts, so we have absolutely no buying power risk. We have no risk on the naked puts. We simply have a nice big 100-point wide trap down here. It's a ways away, but it's a free trap, and we still have time left on this trade. It doesn't expire till the end of the month. So we got a couple of weeks. We'll see what happens. If we get a big sell-off, we'll hit it big. If we don't get much of anything, we will have only won $15. So cost us it didn't cost us a dime. We got paid $15 to get a free hedge on. Can't really beat that. And no buying power being used at all today. So that's where we are on the trades. Small account had a nice winner that we closed. We added some new LT 112 trades today in almost every single account that we have. We just continue to work our plan, let theta work for us, and we're having a great month again. 19 winners, 2 losers, up $5,937 on the month, and we still have a good number of days to go, another 13 days to go in this month. All right, hope you guys enjoy a great rest of your trading evening, and we'll see you in the markets tomorrow, everybody. Take care. Have a great day.